This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp is an online platform that helps you find a therapist that will match your needs. BetterHelp offers live video chats, open discussion, conversations with real therapists in real time if that's what you need. I personally love it and have used it now for almost 2 years. I would really recommend, if you need someone to talk to that is not in your family or your friend circle, that you reach out to betterhelp.com and you will receive 10% off if you use my code BGP. So again, that's betterhelp.com/BGP to find the right online counselor for you. Hi, welcome to Big Girl Pants Podcast, where we talk about health, wellness, careers, parenting, relationships, and everything in between. I am your host, April Melton. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So welcome back to Big Girl Pants Podcast. We're in a little bit of a different space today, which is a fun story. I will tell you after this little introduction to our guest. So, Fanni, I want you to tell everyone first how to pronounce your name. Second, who
you pronounce
are.
it perfectly, so I don't know. I don't have to tell everybody.
But I didn't say your last name either. So, some people, whatever. But I want you to say your name and what you do, where you're from, and then we can kind of go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, April, for having me on the podcast. My name is Fanni Gambero. That's how I pronounce it. Fun fact about me, I'm originally from Hungary. That's why I don't pronounce my name like Fanny. A lot of people, when they read my name, that's what they do, especially here in Texas.
Sadly, yes.
Yeah. So Fanni Gambero, and I am the co-founder and president of XM Talent Pros, and I'm also the chief business accelerator at XM Performance.
Awesome. So, Fanni, I know everybody's going to read this title and they're going to see Fanni and they're going to be like, oh, really?
Yeah, I know.
All the Americans. But so I want to know a little bit more about what you do, what your business does, like what you specialize in. And also, after that, we can talk about personal life, blah, 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 how we met, all that stuff. So.
Sounds good. Yeah. So my business that I run is called XM Talent Pros. And what we do there is help busy entrepreneurs find the right-hand person, the right-hand person for them, right? So that is a role that used to be called secretary, now executive assistant, but we've actually evolved that title for small business owners specifically, and we call it the business accelerator role or administrative business accelerator role. We just help entrepreneurs go faster with less stress, with the right person working for them, with them to bring their vision to life.
Okay. So I love this because just literally right now in my head, in my brain, I'm thinking about a referral for you for someone that I know that needs your services. So I'm actually going to target my questions around her and what she does. And then I want you to help answer that and provide some clarification because as entrepreneurs scale and grow, right? Like, how do they know when they need to hire someone?
Such a good question. Yeah. I mean, yesterday.
Yeah. When they started.
Right. So most entrepreneurs start on the owner operator line, right? So they're the chief everything officer. And there comes a point when sometimes maybe their family or clients kind of suffer from not having enough of this entrepreneur, right? So maybe the blessing of too much work happening. Or too much growth. And yeah, those are blessings. But at the same time, how do we juggle, especially us busy moms or busy dads, like how do we juggle all that and growing a business? And it's not that difficult to grow a business. You just have to be in 100 different places all at once or 100 different aspects of your business. And when you realize that the growth is not happening because you are holding this company back and you're just kind of maybe hiding in the mundane work or doing the admin stuff, and at least you're spending 10 to 15 hours on admin stuff, that's when you should kind of have this idea of, okay, I need to start buying back my time because my business is going to be
suffering
on a flat line. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can't delegate some of those things off your plate.
Interesting. So, actually, I have two referrals for you. So when we end this podcast recording, I'm going to give you their information. Um, so, okay, let's say, give me a range, right? So like entrepreneurs, let's say their business size, like what are some examples of entrepreneurs that you're working with slash for, and like how you're, number one, identifying them, like how are you finding your clients, right? And then number two, like tell me a little bit of a range of like the company size that maybe you're finding and you're working with, like revenue, right? So like let's say they're $500,000 a year in revenue, all the way up to what would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a great question too. And not that I do not have a specific answer for you, but I'm
Yeah,
going
yeah.
to take it to a different direction. And then eventually, I promise I'm going to come back to
This episode is
your
all
question.
about you, I promise.
Oh, yeah. No, no, no. So basically, at XM Talent Present, XM Performance are two brands. We want to help big vision and big heart clients first and foremost. So to us, it doesn't really matter like the size of your company. Of
Okay,
course, I mean, established businesses are easier to work with for anyone because why? They have money
sure.
to spend on your services, right?
Yeah,
So
and yeah, I
I'm
think that's why
I'm
I was
making it so
asking too,
simple.
because right, because you want to make sure that people can afford you, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. But one thing I didn't mention, we not only search for or help people find their right hand person, their wingman, but we can also help really small businesses with the process of how to find this person. And
Mm,
like that's a more
okay.
affordable solution
Okay.
that we offer. And
Yeah, so they
then,
could kind of like hire you as like almost um like a training consultant, kind of.
yes, yes,
Okay.
exactly. We've seen it in so many small businesses, the problem of owners have zero idea how to find not just administrative talent in general, right? They don't have a good process. They spend too much time looking at resumes and not have any idea of who the person is that's coming into their office. Like we've had an entrepreneur who had 10 interviews lined up in one day. Like he blocked out a Friday completely just for 10 in-person interviews. And we asked him like, have you pre-qualified these candidates? No, I just their resume looked good, so they're coming in my office, and so we were
What's a
able
phone
to just
screen?
kind of
Why do I
consult
need to
with
do
him.
that?
Yeah, I know. We were just consult with him, like, hey, like pick up the phone, call them, and just ask them a couple simple, easy questions. Some that will help you disqualify a few of them, and you only have to have in-person conversations with two or three. How much time will that save you? So much,
Yeah,
right? So
hours, your whole day.
hours. Exactly. Exactly. And see, I promised to get back to your question, but I totally forgot what it was. Oh, yes. So client.
Okay,
So
we
who
go
do we
all the way
love
around.
working with? Yes. Who do we love working with? The big vision entrepreneur that has the vision of, okay, I don't want to flatline anymore. I want to grow this business. I know I need to have a team behind me, and I know I need to have strategic clarity there. How to get there. But they're the gap. They realize like, shoot, I'm the gap. I'm the person that's not letting go or having a hard time letting go. I don't know how to delegate. I don't know how to lead. Maybe I don't even know how to sell or have, one hiccup is usually like, oh, I'm not sure I'm ready to hire an assistant because I have this like up and
Yeah,
down of
fluctuation.
income.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whatever.
fluctuation, the highs and lows of, you close 5 deals or however many for your business, and then you just kind of forget about the marketing machine that should be happening while you're serving these clients, right?
Yeah,
So,
because you got to bring in
uh,
new ones.
yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why there's those like drought seasons too in small businesses because business owners don't realize like while they're serving the clients, they have to be working on marketing and sales. So, yeah, so ideal client. I've worked with a client who was a nurse practitioner
Mhm.
and she's in Forney, growing area, right? And she is bringing the holistic healthcare solution, um, customized and individualized treatment to patients through a direct primary health care clinic. So she opened up her own clinic. She was alone by herself, the chief everything officer for a while. And
Yeah.
then there came a point where she no longer could even put in the prescriptions on time for her patients, or like she needed her first office manager and she didn't even have time to find
Yeah.
her person, right? And so we helped her with just, she gave us some parameters of who she's looking for, and then we ran the process for her. And we also stayed with her to do a little bit of personality coaching around how to communicate with this candidate and new employee that came on board. So that's kind of like our holistic approach to finding and also like helping with the onboarding process as well, because that's another thing that we found that small businesses
Yeah.
are struggling with, is they just like shove the candidate or the
Here
new hire like, here's the deep end of the pool, figure it out,
we go. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, so no plan, no process, and just with a little bit of coaching and consulting, we can turn that around and honestly establish the most efficient and kind of like just that great foundation for the long-term partnership that these two
Okay.
people will have. So yeah, she's one of my clients, but also I've helped out um, uh, a lot bigger organization as well, where it's been established. It's kind of a startup, but they were well funded, and the CEO understood, hey, the value of my time is at $2, $3, $500 an hour, right? So I need an executive assistant so that I can achieve the growth, or we can, get to where we want to be, right? So smaller businesses is where my heart is. We want to help small businesses become the best places to work in America, ultimately at XM Performance. That's our guiding light, right? And ultimately, we just want to help and serve big vision, big heart clients. Because for me, I was an executive assistant, and it meant a lot to my professional development and personally as well to work for a leader that cared about me and cared about the people in the company. And it wasn't just about the money for him.
Yeah.
It was more
Yeah.
than that. So I want to kind of repeat in the marketplace to help admins find work in amazing companies that are led by big heart leaders.
Awesome. Cool. So yeah, the person that I'm thinking about, she runs a social media marketing agency, and she's doing it here in DFW, and she thinks she needs to hire like an admin for her office and also an EA for herself. The reason why I know all these details is because she reached out to me, but she doesn't think that she needs someone full time in both roles.
Mhm.
So that's obviously one of the people that I want to send to you.
Yeah.
She's gonna love this though. She's been on my podcast like 3 times. I'll send you the episodes where she's been, and you can kind of like do a little bit of homework on her too.
Love
Um,
it.
yeah, shout out Mary. Shout out love you, Mary. But yeah, so she's someone, right? So she started her business in 2018. She was one of my very first guests on the podcast. So she started when it was just her by herself. Then she hired her first employee. Now she has like 8 full-time employees, maybe 9. There's like a team of 10. So she's insanely busy all the time, right? She's learning how to delegate better and get all those things done and get them all off of her plate. But I know that she's definitely still overwhelmed, both professionally and personally. So that's why she needs both of those. But yeah, like that's someone who I think, from what you're saying, that is someone that would be a good client for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. And especially because what I also love doing in the marketplace is helping entrepreneurs realize that the title executive assistant is no longer, mm, especially in small businesses, like we cannot put this role into a box anymore. That's why we came up with the Business Xcelerator title. That's why we coined this term, because when I was an EA, and I call my title was an EA, but also we use the Business Xcelerator term. I wore so many hats. Doing the customer service, I learned how to do bookkeeping, HR,
Right.
payroll,
Yes.
event management, project management, right? So in a corporate world, executive assistants typically, not always, but typically, they cover the CEO or their executive
Yeah.
by managing their email, their calendar and travel. And honestly, because they're so busy individuals, that's kind of like the box, that executive assistants kind of
That's where
get
they stay. Right.
Exactly, right? But especially in the admin community, there's more and more talk about this is no longer just a tactical role anymore. It is a strategic role. Hey, if the admin can learn what the priorities, what's the vision for the executive, pick up some pieces here and there, could really result in tremendous acceleration. And admins are amazing humans,
Oh, yeah.
smart
They're-
individuals, right? They
Listen.
just do everything in the background to make the executive look fantastic.
Yeah, they're
amazing,
incredible.
Right? So
And like, I
they
wish,
are.
and I mean, you're probably like this. I'm not like this, clearly, as you learned this morning. Not type A at all. I'm the dreamer. I'm the big picture person, right? Like I'm the podcaster. I joke all the time. I am not the technical person. I am the talent. I'm here to be funny and be witty and to be on camera. I am not here to do anything that has to do with anything behind the scenes. Not a fan. No.
And that's
I
so
am not
normal
type
and
A.
natural.
I am not organized. I am the opposite.
And we need so many of you, in the world. Like honestly, we do. But that's why it's so amazing. The executive that I served, who's actually my current boss is actually my business partner as well. It's a fun story. We can get into that as well.
Yes, please.
If we want to. Yeah. So you're probably familiar with the DISC profile or some personality assessments,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
When
for
you
sure.
do
High D,
recruiting.
high I. That's me. Yes.
Okay, yes, that's you,
No
right?
S's or C's anywhere near my profile. Nowhere.
So April, you and I are opposites too, just like Ross and I are opposites because I'm an SC mix, right? My D on 100 scale is a 4. I know.
Oh, really?
Yes. So, what does that
That's amazing.
I know. And I'm kind of proud of it. I usually like,
Well, I'm
Yeah.
proud of you because you really break outside of your shell to network as much as you do, and you are a networking queen. Like, I feel like
You're
Fanni
darling.
knows everyone. Let's be real. Yes.
I had to find ways that felt comfortable. One, I'm thankful for my leader who always pushed me outside of my comfort zone. Like even as an admin, we started talking about how XM Performance and the XM brands, like we're a marketing and sales company with a people focus. So everyone, even whoever's in the admin position, there's actually quite a few admins on our team. We just like take care of different pieces of the business. We all have a little piece in our pie where we either have to do some kind of marketing or selling. So even from the get-go, when I got hired 6.5 years ago, going to a young professionals chamber networking event was like one of the things I had to do. And I was thankful for the strategy of, okay, let's not shove her in the deep end of the pool. It was building me up, building my confidence up, reading books. Vanessa Van Edwards' Captivate, for example, one of the greatest books about like how to help a socially awkward person network. And, and then.
So funny because you do not come off as socially awkward at all. Not anymore.
Yeah. I mean,
I didn't meet you back in the day.
I just have to recharge. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do after this podcast, but it'll definitely include a little nap.
And you're like, everybody leave me alone. Too much talking. That's enough. Meanwhile, I'm like, I could go to a party after this. Like, we're fine.
Yeah. I enjoy conversations like one-on-one rather than just going into a big 100-person room.
And honestly, even for someone like me who's like a high D, high I, like getting out of my car at networking events, still a challenge. I'm like, it's gonna be okay. But it's like, I think it's the difference too is like when you go to a networking event, you know that you have to be on. And when you're selling, because I'm in sales, right? I'm a salesperson. And when you're selling all day, like you have to be on all day. And then you have to go to a networking event at night. And then you're like, oh my God, like I have to do this again. That's the struggle for me. But all good.
No, the networking event that I organize once a month, it starts at 3:30. One, because I want parents to be able to get home for dinner time with their kids. I do have 2 little ones, right? So
you should plug that too for local people.
Yeah. I mean, and happy
Plug your
hours are
event. Yes.
oh, yeah,
Plug
absolutely.
your
Yeah. So
yeah. Yes.
yeah, so I'm part of Success Champion Network. And so that also takes me back to like the comfortable way of networking, right? So like just
Yes.
everybody, like I think everybody's capable of doing anything, right? We just have to have this mindset of, okay, I'm going to push myself a little bit outside of my comfort zone, but I don't have to break myself, right, in the process.
Except me and being organized. LOL. Like
Well, hey,
if you
you
give me a
know,
good
that's good.
if you give me a
That's
good
when sorry. That's when you have to say like, "Okay, I need help here. I am, like I'm one puzzle piece, but I need somebody to complete me," right? So
yes.
professionally, that's that business accelerator, and we use the personality assessments not primarily to like find the person that we're
Mhm.
gonna couple up or pair up with the entrepreneur or executive, but we do want to see some in some parts of their personalities being complete opposites because they will have to cover each other's blind spots. So yeah, Ross
And
and I
be
are complete opposites on every personality assessment we've ever taken. We're complete opposites, and I feel like that was really part of why we were and are a super duo,
yeah.
professionally, and that's kind of what we're always looking for in candidates as well. How will they complete the their leader, right? So that's one thing. And yes, so getting back to like comfortable way of networking. Now I network a lot on Zoom, like one,
Mhm.
and it's usually one-on-one, but I did get picked, I guess. I didn't ask for this role, but I said yes to it. I am a president of a B2B networking
Mhm.
chapter in Success Champion Networking. So we meet Tuesdays at 10 Central Time virtually. So anybody's invited. You guys find me on LinkedIn and ask about it. Yeah, you guys are invited to come check that group out. We're very intentional and we are go-givers in our community. So we just love opening doors for other people. And then we meet
Is
once
that
a month.
like is that a nationwide event or just a local event?
So my group particularly, everybody's here locally.
Okay.
But there are 20-ish chapters right now in that community, and some of the chapters are national, and there's actually one or two international chapters as well, right? So
Okay, cool.
it's a growing community, uh, good people. We don't mind cursing, and just gotta be real. Be
We keep
real
it real.
humans on
Keep it
the
real in
call,
here.
right? Real people. Yeah. So real people on the call. And yeah, so because my group is local, we have the opportunity to meet once a month in person as well. That's happening on the third Wednesday of each month at
Mhm.
3:30 at Firebirds
Oh, you
in
do
the
it at
Alliance
Firebirds now?
area.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yes, we used to do it at a different location, but yeah, we just made some connections too. We want to support other businesses as well in the area.
Yeah.
So every year we're going to find a different place to
Yeah,
host it
whatever
at. So
works. Yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
so
So
cool. Okay, so um there's like 40 things that I want to say. So okay, I love that you and your boss are opposite.
mhm.
Especially because that's what I was gonna say when you were like, that's when you phone a friend and you say, "I need help in this area." That's exactly like, I may not be good at being type A or being organized or being structured or whatever. However, I am not afraid to ask questions of those people who are. So, like, even if something as simple as like, I need to reorganize my kitchen. So, like, my sister-in-law, she's incredible at that. So I'm like, "Hey, Shane, you're amazing at organizing your kitchen. What I'm gonna send you some videos of my kitchen, and you can like start brainstorming, thinking about ways I can do this better, like whatever." And she was like, "Yes, absolutely. I would love to help you. Like, I love doing that, whatever." Ironically, I just if you've listened to the last episode with Ashley Chang, she just got hired as an EA through their company. Like a personal, it's like an EA PA because it's like an executive assistant, but a personal assistant for parents. And it's all right now, it's all virtual. They are working on like a service that's going to be more in person. Um, but anyway, so it's so funny because she is so type A, so organized, so structured, all of it. Like every time I go to her house, it's spotless. And I'm like, "You have a 1-year-old. How the heck do you do this?" Like
Yeah.
it's an I have 2 kids and I'm like, it's crazy in here. Like you can
I
only see
recently
this part of
posted a
my wall
picture.
on purpose,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
I recently posted a picture on LinkedIn about like the scene behind me, I would say spotless, right? Now on the other end
Other
of the
side.
camera, it's a little different. I'm at the office, right? So it's funny because I used to be the person who was the organizer. I'm very harmonious. I love things looking neat and tidy around me, right? But now because I'm pushing myself a little bit outside of my comfort zone, I'm not a typical CEO, but here I am, president of a company,
Mhm.
right? And so like some of these things are like trickling in and like the mess is just following me around, but also like, hey, like juggling life, home, yeah, my home is absolutely not spotless. I posted a picture on LinkedIn too about that as well. I don't even like working from home that much because I just
Same.
have to face a corner where I don't see like what's going
Yeah,
on
I have to like put myself in
around
the
me.
corner. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's funny how with me doing the things that are not coming to me very naturally or pushing outside my comfort zone, I noticed more and more that my strengths are also not becoming a weakness, but I feel like maybe I can't use them enough just for the sake of time. Like I have an amazing, amazing business accelerator. We're actually uh doing a hybrid role for her. She recently moved back to Ohio. She was a teammate and she was just so fabulous. Crystal. Love you, Crystal. We wanted to give her the opportunity to still work with us. And yeah, XM Talent Pros has the opportunity to be more of a not local but national
Yeah.
company.
Presence.
And
Yeah.
so yeah, why not experiment with somebody that you like and trust and you know that she does amazing work for you. So anyway, even having her, sometimes it just gets still too much, and uh, yeah, we all juggle so many things, but that's okay. Like I go to therapy and I just say, hey, therapist,
I
help
go to there,
me.
I pay my
You
therapist,
know,
I let it out,
yeah,
we move on. We come home, we do the laundry, like, it's like whatever. I know, I'm the same. And it's
yeah.
like, I have no problem asking questions of those who are much better than me at these things, right? But then it's like,
Mhm.
it's almost to the point where, if you're not having like regular conversations with those people who like you and your boss, right? Because you guys work in synergy, synergistic, whatever. Um, if you're not having those consistent conversations, they don't know what you're good at. You don't know what they're good at. So then it's like, oh, well, I'm having a deficit here. Oh, well, I have, a bonus, or I have an addition, or I have a surplus. So I can help you with your deficit. Like that's the thing I think that's so nice about the personality assessment too, because ironically, referencing back to Mary, she just went and did the culture index, I think, or predictive index or something. They learned either one. But as someone I've been in staffing and recruiting for forever. So I've seen so many companies who've utilized so many different, right, to like, from training to personality assessment to skills, strengths finder, all of them, right? They want to identify the good people. Or just the people who have the skills that they need for the positions that they need. And it's
Mhm.
funny that you said that you and your boss are the opposite. That's how me and my ex-husband were. Like I'm a high D, high I, he's high S, high C. Like it
Yeah.
was like the perfect balance. It was hilarious. As far as on paper went, we'll just say that.
Right. Yeah.
So right. So like on paper, perfect, right?
Looks good.
But like
Right.
that's the other thing too, where your company comes in and we're like in my industry is like, yeah, on paper, this person looks perfect. On paper, they probably have the technical skills that you need. Culture fit, we need to
Mm.
have a conversation because they may not work for you, like, and I think that's the benefit of working with a company similar to yours or working with a company like mine or like the company that I work for. Like, you're really not going to be able to identify what type of person this is based on a piece of paper alone, whether that's an assessment, a resume, a LinkedIn profile, whatever, right?
Yep.
You're not going to be able to break that down or have that personality conversation. And I think for entrepreneurs, because they are so passionate and emotionally driven, like, because if you're not, then you don't have the passion to do it. I listened to an episode of Diary of a CEO the other day where he was talking to Mr. Beast, and like Mr. Beast was talking about like I don't remember his exact name, but his YouTube channel is Mr. Beast, and that's like his like internet persona. He was talking about how he started recording and doing YouTube from the time he was 11. Like my daughter's 10, and he started at 11. And now, like on paper, sure, he's a billionaire or whatever, but his net worth is like very low because he gives all of his money away. But just like taking into consideration, like he knew probably from like 9 that he wanted to be a YouTuber. So he starts saying it and then he starts manifesting it and starts making it. Obviously, this person is emotionally driven. And he also talked about, which is ironic for our conversation, he talked about how he doesn't like working with mediocre people. So like he doesn't like those middle of the road, maybe not as driven, maybe not as passionate, someone who's there to just check a box and get a paycheck. Like he doesn't like working with those people because he doesn't feel like, how can I scale and grow this company and this candidate? Like not even just me and all about me. He's like, I want you to be better. I want you to grow. I want you to utilize all of your skills. I want you to be passionate about your job, all of it. He's like, I can't do that with people who just are not passionate about anything. I know.
Yeah.
It was a very cool episode. Very cool interview.
Yeah, you need to send me the link to it. I'm curious to hear, his
I will.
insights about that. But it's
Yeah, it
true,
was
yeah,
good.
this culture fit and who you are on paper. Even, DISC is just scratching the surface. A lot of people don't understand that. It's emotional intelligence, our educational background, our experiences, our what else? Belief systems, right? Like
Yes.
all of those make up a human being. It's like Shrek said it well. We are like onions and have many
Yes.
layers. And
Layers. Yes.
yeah, you got to peel it off. So these personality assessments, they're really just the tip of the iceberg.
Mhm.
There are some that look a little bit under the hood as well. But yeah, so that's why we're so intentional to making sure we understand the CEO that we're looking for a business
Yes.
accelerator for.
Yeah.
Because you have to know, this is a personal role, like being an EA or having this partnership. It gets personal. So I just wrote a blog about this too. It's not out yet, but
It's almost like you're dating like a relationship. Like it's not even like
you
a,
have to work at it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
So I
Well, and
recently had,
it's
yeah,
like your professional, it's like your professional partner, right? Because, and maybe not
absolutely.
like business partner, but like professional partner, meaning like I'm going to rely on you, you're going to rely on me too. Like we're going to be working together a lot, 40 plus hours a week. I mean, how many hours are we awake? You know, that's a lot.
We probably spend more time with our bosses if we are assistants, right? than our own spouses
And
or
a lot of
partners, right?
people in our lives. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
So it
exactly.
matters. Yeah.
It does. And so recently I was hired to do coaching for a company. And the CEO is super busy, always on the road. He flies himself to places because he understands, like he has a pilot's license. He understands the
Oh,
value of his
wow.
time.
He
Right,
like
I know.
actually flies himself. Okay.
He flies himself to meetings if they're not in town. Like,
All right.
I know, like good for him,
Go, man,
right?
go.
However, the executive assistant he hired a year and a half ago didn't work out. She is an amazing culture fit, but didn't work out in the executive assistant spot. And we didn't help with that hire particularly. But what happened?
You're like, that wasn't our work. Just
That wasn't
saying.
us.
That wasn't our work.
Yeah, saying we're perfect at placements, but we've made some magic happen. Like some of our clients have said, like my EA has changed my life, and I'm like, that's amazing. Like that's what I want to do more.
Yes.
But anyway,
Yes.
so so um this I would say poor executive assistant had 30 minutes on the first week with the executive, with the CEO.
Yeah.
That was kind of it, right? And so it sparked this idea of me even thinking about the role. Like one, it is personal, and if you're the CEO, like you want to make sure that your assistant actually likes you, not you know um you know what I
Right.
mean, like
Yes.
like
Yes.
likes you as a person enough to
Right.
feel motivated to
Yes.
serve you the best to
Yeah.
their abilities, right? Like it is hard to do some things, even if there's a paycheck, right? That there's a
Hmm.
something else in return, but it's not enough. Like the paycheck is not enough to motivate a human to serve another one, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you have to spend time with your EA. Lots of executives miss out on this easy, seemingly easy, because if they're busy, it's like, I don't have any time for anything. But your EA cannot help you if they don't know what's going on in your world, right?
Yeah. True.
So honoring and prioritizing your daily huddles, weekly one-on-ones is like one thing I always tell CEOs, like going forward, one, understand like this person relies on your guidance, like you're their direct supervisor. It's not HR, it's not the admin
Yeah. No, they report to you.
leader. Yeah, exactly. They report to you. So you're their leader. Professionally, you're responsible for their growth. Again, you have to be able to open up a little to them so they like know who you are and who they're serving so they can succeed
Well,
in
and
these
like
roles.
their comprehension of the position, right? Or like how to best support you. Like
Yeah.
you got to tell them.
I have another networking group that I started specifically for small business admins, and I called it the table. The reason why
Mm,
I called it the table, because I want these small business owners to know that their admins, their business accelerators, need to have a seat at the table, at the
mhm.
conference table where strategic conversations are happening,
Yes.
where big decisions are being made. So many of the conversations I have been a part of made sense when I was invited, to the big conversation, or like so many things that I did, it's like, it's one thing for the CEO to ask me like, hey, do this for me. But if I don't know the why behind what I'm doing or how
Sure.
this is moving the business
Yeah.
forward, or like, it is almost impossible to bring the best work.
And or like what problem you're solving, right? Like what process am I improving? What problem am I solving? What am I fixing
Mhm.
with this, right? Because if I know, then I can do it. Then I can work my solution based around that problem. But if I don't know what I'm doing, that I don't, how can I optimize if I don't have the information? Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's so imperative for this person not to be an outlier. Um, they need to be part of the big conversations. And yeah, I'm just repeating myself. But again, like that's where like I want CEOs or business owners, I want their paradigm shift happening towards what this role can do for them. And sometimes, yeah, it's interesting because every business owner is so unique, right? So they
Yeah.
think about themselves as unicorns, and they are, right? So, and I think everybody's a unicorn, right? Because there's so many things that make us tick, or different things that get us excited. There's different missions we're on, right? So everybody's a unicorn, but I think a unicorn needs another unicorn to complete them, right? So
Hmm.
we've started talking about this, and actually we're upgrading one of our tools that helps entrepreneurs see what areas of their life this person can help them. And some business accelerators do help around the personal, uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
aspects. There was a real estate professional and business owner that I helped out. She had young kids at the time, so her business accelerator, who's been with her for 4 years now, that we helped find, she had to pick up the kids every once in a while, so
Yeah.
that was part of the role. And,
Yeah.
it was okay. It was very clear that that was the expectation, right? So, um, that can be part of the role. Or sometimes it's a little bit finance and customer service. So back
Yeah.
to actually, I think Mary, that you
Hmm.
mentioned earlier, right? So
Hmm.
she's thinking about this person, or there might
Or
be two
two,
people that, yeah,
two
like there are two
people.
people she needs to hire, right? But
Yeah.
I would say
Hmm.
those two things, right? I think it's a full-time role.
So that was my suggestion as well. I
Mhm.
think the concern around that is more expertise, budget,
Mhm.
experience, expectations, all of it. And then my question too was like, and this is like a little bit, whatever, granular, but like my question too for her was like, well, do you intend for both of these positions to potentially become full-time one day? Because if you do, then right, maybe that's two different people. But for right now, that could be one person. And then when the workload becomes too much, then that person can train the new persons.
Yeah,
Right. To like
absolutely.
as you grow and scale and you need to hire a new person, then that person can train like maybe someone who's a little more junior and then you can bring them in and they can teach them essentially everything that they need to know that you've already taught this one person that is now that could potentially be your admin assistant and your EA, but that
Mhm.
now could teach the lower person or the new person, the admin assistant, what it is that this person can now offload up to them. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
yeah. And then I also have another client that came to me and is looking for something similar as well, except, and you mentioned it earlier, more on the bookkeeping side. So like he needs someone that's going to be able to come in on site with them and is going to fill in like the gaps, like the bookkeeping gaps, invoicing, stuff like that. But also there's like other parts of the business that need support too. So where like sometimes they maybe have called this an office manager or administrative assistant or executive assistant, he's an entrepreneur as well. He makes floors for like Chick-fil-A and other like children's museums, right? Like the really bouncy kid area floors. That's what he does. But he needed someone like in Business Xcelerator to come in and like really see all of the places where he has a deficit or where he needs someone to help. And I think his problem too is again, big picture dreamer, made this amazing product, has a hard time taking all the information from here, putting it on a piece of paper, teaching it to someone. And if you're not hiring the right person, then you're not going to find someone who's motivated enough to really dig deep and identify. Like he said, that I think they've probably hired two or three people maybe. And he's like, whatever, these people just like, I know. And I'm like, right, but have you told them? Like, have you told them what you need? Have you thought about what you need? Because that we were on a call for an hour and a half, and I was like, we've been talking in circles. So like, tell me what you need. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm continuing to ask open-ended questions, right? So what does that look like? Like
Mhm.
what do you need here? And honestly, the thing for me is like, and where you and I are probably a little bit different in what we do. Like I'm targeting more of that established corporate business, someone who has like 5 to 10 million in revenue plus, someone who has
Mhm.
processes in place, somebody who actually knows who they want to hire too. Like
Oh, yeah.
if they come to me, they're going to say, "Oh, I want a senior staff accountant." Okay, great. You want to hire a CFO? Okay, great. You want to hire a network engineer? Great. Like I know all that. I know all those people. I know what you're looking for. But the difference there is like from what I'm understanding that you're saying is like you're helping those people who are like working on getting their business there, but they're not quite there yet. Or maybe they are and they still need to hire this EAPA admin, whatever it is that they want to call it with you, Business Xcelerator. Um, and you kind of help them to identify what they need to.
You're helping me work on my marketing message, April. Thank
Oh
you.
my God, you're so welcome. No problem.
Absolutely.
High
So,
G, high I,
yeah,
like that's what it
really,
is.
yeah, that consultative approach of just even opening the opportunity for these entrepreneurs to understand, one, they deserve somebody to help them. That's another layer sometimes I have to talk about. Like,
Yes.
and it's not weird to ask somebody for assistance or like have somebody that serves you. Like, some people are built, they're wired to do that,
And
right?
they
So
like
just
it. Like they enjoy that. That's how
as
they
seen.
feel.
Love it.
Yeah. Right.
Yep,
That's how they feel fulfilled too. Right.
absolutely. Yes. And so oh, so many things what you just said, but I know. Um, I totally lost my train of thought, but yeah, so like taking this consultative process and approach to helping CEOs understand, like right now you might not be at a place where this role is so streamlined, and
Hmm.
that's okay.
Right.
Let's put like three kind of areas, two to three areas where this person is gonna be serving you, right? And over time, like this person can also choose their path as your company grows. So earlier you were mentioning, yeah, like you could use this one person who's doing
Hmm.
two
Yes.
jobs technically,
Yeah.
they could see like where are their strengths shining,
Mhm.
like which
Yes.
path is it, like the
Right.
marketing, or they might be interested in more on the finance side, right? And so, but in the meantime, like the basic stuff, like they can handle, especially if the volume's not there, where
Yeah.
it's always, so like they can juggle multiple things. And yeah, your client who's making the floors, what was I going to say about that one? They, yeah, I have no idea. You might have to cut that part out.
That's okay. No,
Yeah.
honestly, I think you're right on it. You know it. It's on the tip of your tongue. You just forgot. But
Yeah.
for them, they've made some hires and they've paid. And that's another thing I was going to say about the difference
Right.
between you and I am not cheap. So like when people come to me, right, and I'm not saying that you are, but when people come to me and I tell them my pricing, because my pricing is targeted towards corporations who are used to paying my prices. So like when I tell a small business owner how much money I cost, they're like, "What? I don't want to pay that much."
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah,
Or
for sure.
they're doing the math in their head. They're trying to figure it out. They're trying to calculate, trying to finagle, like try to do whatever. And I'm like, listen, and it's honestly funny, it's very helpful for me because then I have a resource that I can refer to my clients if they maybe need someone like you or they need to hire someone like what you provide, because I ultimately, my thing is like, I'm a, definitely the I, right, the influencer, but also a connector. Like, I love bringing people together, whether that benefits me financially or not, genuinely. Like
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, even people who are like in the job search, even if I don't have a position for you, I will absolutely send you, like the candidate that I sent you for the EA role.
Yeah.
Even if I don't have a job for you right now, I don't have a client who's hiring for you, or I don't have a client who needs someone like you, I will send you to any organization, anyone that I know. Look through my 8,800 LinkedIn connections. I will make an introduction. I'll call, I'll text, I'll do whatever. I'll send an email. Who cares? Because, like, honestly, at the end of the day, what does that hurt me? It doesn't. It's only beneficial for it's putting good out in the universe,
It
knowing
is.
that
That's
good
what I
will
love
return.
about you. Yeah, that's what I love about you. And honestly, like I don't want to do any type of recruiting that has nothing to do with the admin or detail
Right.
oriented, right?
Right.
Customer service is kind of adjacent,
Oh,
but
like like
yeah, I don't want to hire
like
would you say an executive like CFO? That's not what I
I
want to
know.
do,
Oh,
right? So
like,
like
how
more
about
person.
what is it? Oh gosh. What is the role? Director of Regulatory Affairs and Quality in Woodbine, Iowa? How about that? Did you want to do that? No? Oh, okay.
Kudos to you for saying yes to a project like that. Yeah.
Okay, so honestly, not only did I say yes to that project, executed the project and found two incredible candidates. They ended up going with an internal, which is great. That's great because do you know how hard it would have been to find someone to move to Woodbine, Iowa? Like that is the struggle.
Yeah.
But that's like the stuff that I work on. Like I
Yeah.
want those really hard to place, really hard to find positions because that's what we pride ourselves on. Like, yes, I can find all the regular stuff too. I can find the easy things to find, but like I like the challenge of like a client coming to me with this position like that and saying like, "Hey, I need your help." And I'm like, "Yes, we can do it." And like when we do, I feel like so fulfilled. But
So
um
cool.
but the difference too is like, especially for these entrepreneurs who don't know what they don't know and don't know what they have potential access to. Like Mary, she definitely needs someone like you. She needs someone like what you provide. And I think that making that introduction will be almost seamless. Like,
Yeah.
which is so exciting. Because
Thank you,
again,
April.
if like making that connection for me is like, you know, oh my friend Mary now gets to reflect back and say, oh, she made this connection, then I found this really great person, and then cool, everybody's happy, great, everything worked out, like that. Those are the things that drive me, like connecting those people and like the vast network that I do have, not just like professionally, but like personally too. Like, what does it do? Does it do bad things? No. Oh, okay, great.
Last year, when we were kind of messing with our marketing message, we came up with this awesome idea of calling ourselves at XM the, what did we call ourselves? The, um, one moment.
You're like, I'm gonna find it. I have it.
I have it. See, I'm not using, the casting director. I have a casting director chair right here. Anyway, back to it. So last year, we were messing with our marketing message and we came up with this amazing idea of calling ourselves casting directors for the perfect co-star in your business story, right?
I love that.
Now, right, okay, we loved it too. And at the same time, whenever I went to networking meetings and I introduced myself like that, people thought I was in the filming industry. What our goal
Mhm.
was is really differentiating ourselves a little bit from recruiters, even though the service we do is recruiting and more, right?
Yes. Right.
Consulting,
Yes.
coaching.
Mhm.
But we wanted to come up with something that kind of doesn't put us in the recruiter box. One, for the pricing reason as well. Again, like one thing I don't want to do is bash recruiters. I think like what you do and like
No, I know.
everybody else does
Yeah.
is amazing. And I do some of it as well. But ultimately, as I said earlier, small to mid-sized businesses, right? So
Yes.
that's our target market. We wanted to create a service that's affordable and makes a long-term impact for the business, whether that's holding their hand on what questions to ask during the interview. Like
Yes.
it's not even like part of our process or anything. It's just like a given. Like, okay, I need to know that you know how to close this deal, or like if
I
I
need to
send the
know that
leading
you know
candidate to you,
how to hire someone. Do you know how to hire someone?
yeah, probably not, right? And then also like giving them again tips how to make the first day memorable for that long-term engagement and just like some admins I've talked to some admins and on their first day, the small business, like their doors were locked and nobody was waiting for them, right?
Oh
I know,
no.
what a terrible experience, and this happens in the marketplace. How crazy, right? So anyway, differentiating ourselves in the marketplace in a way that, yes, even our pricing structure is different, I would say,
Yeah.
than some recruiters. I don't know every recruiter like how they price, but most of the
Well, I mean,
recruiters,
but
like
also like, yeah, and industry standard. I mean, right? Like, a lot of the positions that I've placed in just in my let's say I'm going on 10 years. So a lot of those positions have been full-time, permanent roles. That's starting at 20% of that person's salary, all the way up to 30. If the search is super, super hard, maybe we'll go to 35%. Like,
Mhm.
and that's a lot of money, especially for a small business owner.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it is. It is, right? So maybe with our pricing, it depends, right, on the business itself and many factors, but um the 20% kind of the yearly salary, we hit that whenever the owner chooses not only the recruiting but the coaching piece as well, right? It's a little bit
Oh,
more,
right.
broader
Okay.
thing. It's they get a lot more with
That's
us,
good.
I guess,
Yeah.
and so a lot more value. And again, the partnership has the firm foundation to build upon, right? And so, and yeah, like owners need to be coached. Like, have you told this person how do you give effective feedback? How do you delegate? How do you
Do you
have
know how
the
to coach?
30?
Are you also coachable?
Uh-huh, right, exactly, exactly. That's where the heart comes in. That's why,
Can you
heart
take
people say, I'm the
constructive
problem,
criticism? Yeah.
help me. Right? Yeah. So,
Yeah. I love it.
yeah, I'm excited. It's
That's
fun when we
exciting.
get to
So,
do
okay.
it.
So, and again, so you don't necessarily have like a target per se, right, of your business owner. So but you do specialize with entrepreneurs. That is your thing.
Yes,
Cool. Okay.
that would be
So
my thing.
people who are in business with themselves, for themselves, et cetera, growing, scaling, it's
Mhm.
all that. And you're nationwide?
Nationwide, I have a scratch
Perfect.
off map that I put by 2028. I want to be in all 50 states. And we're coast to coast now, which is great. I'm
That's great.
so
Yeah.
excited. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm so excited. And it's interesting, like how I've been thinking about like, why the heck am I doing this? Because owning a business and running it is hard, right? And sometimes there are, like no leads are coming through and dry pipeline and, employees are going through a tough time and like
Yeah.
just 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 all that,
I know, man.
and sometimes I ask myself, like, "Why the heck am I doing this?" And I feel like there's a calling on my life, like, whenever I became an executive assistant, that role resonated with me the most.
Yeah.
Sometimes I still grieve not being an executive assistant, honestly, like, However, what I get to do again is helping other admins or people who have the talent to be an admin. It's not rocket science. If you're the right personality, like you can learn
Thank
how to
you.
manage an email, right? I know. And
No, they need to have
so
10 years of experience being an admin.
uh-huh.
Really? Do
No,
they
no, no,
really?
no, you don't. They don't. Like it's really not. There are resources out there. There's the learning curve with the right personality, the right attitude can be
Yes.
extremely short,
And like the
right?
skill and technical profile, like there are so many different translatable skills that we could use to pull from for an administrative assistant, for an executive assistant. Like,
Hmm.
anyway,
Exactly.
I
Yes.
digress.
Yes.
Hmm,
No. I have those conversations too. So totally, we're just rolling our eyes, but we're talking about the same thing.
I know.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. And so the other day, a few weeks ago, when through SCN, actually, one of my uh, contacts came to me. She's a virtual assistant, actually, and she was like, "I have this client who is kind of thinking like, I need more than a VA, right?" And I'm like, "Okay, let's have a conversation." He's in he's in Canada. And here's the crazy thing, like I had this vision of being in all 50 states, but maybe God has a bigger vision for me. I don't have that deal closed or
Or
anything,
you better
right? But
go global. Okay, thank you.
honestly,
I'll
like
be on the North American continent. Thank
yeah,
you.
but maybe bigger. Hey, I'm from Hungary and I would love to take my family back there and we want to move back there in a few years, honestly, because I want my children to know the language, know their
Yes, yes,
grandparents,
yes.
my heritage, their heritage. It's important for me. And my business partner knows this. That's why we're building XM Talent Pros more of a remote business and
Good,
virtual business rather than
good.
even though we're specializing in in-person roles. I can place like remote. I've placed remotees, but
Oh,
anyway,
really? Is
like
there? We did it in COVID. Okay, we did it in COVID.
yeah, I know.
That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm
I
gonna say.
know.
The internet is a
Yeah,
wonderful thing. Okay.
it is. It is. It's
What
just
are
the time
time
difference,
zones? They
7
don't
hours,
even
kind of crazy.
exist.
But yeah, so maybe more than North America. Like I don't know. God has this plan. I'm just taking one step, I'm just putting
Good.
one foot in front of the other and
Yes.
just kind of seeing what's going to happen out of it. But that's my why, that's my guiding light. I think there's a calling on my life, which I
And
don't
you have this incredible thing called intuition that we have to listen to, you know? So like when you get the pull, you have to kind of like adhere to it.
yeah.
Because if not, it'll like smack you in the face and be like, I've been trying to whisper this to you, but you're not listening. So like I need you to pay attention.
I know, I know. Thanks for pointing out intuition. That's another thing too. Like it's not only my experience or our experience with the admins, and our wisdom of or like the science behind the personality assessments, but it's some kind of intuition that I'm having a hard time teaching my admin because she's helping me with the interviews now. Like she's stepping
I
up.
know. I
She like
know.
that's her growth curve too. Like she can conduct interviews
Yeah.
now for the business so I can go get more business. How amazing is that? Like what
Incredible.
job description, yeah, has this for an
Yeah.
admin assistant? And
None.
so
None.
yeah. But that's one thing that I'm trying to teach her and we just, we record those calls and like I watch them on 2 speed so I can give her feedback, right? But still like that accelerates her business over time. But like talking about the intuition and like s- um st- you know mm, what am I trying to say? Like putting it into a system. That's systemizing. That's the word
Yeah.
I was looking for.
Yeah.
Systemizing it. A little difficult right now, but hey, we're still kind of in baby phase of our business. I mean, it's been established. We've been doing the service for 7 years now, right?
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
we gave it a name 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, right? So that's when it started becoming a thing. And yeah, it's kind of cool. I get to build this business in a sandbox because I'm a full-time employee of XM Performance, which is a consulting, training, coaching business, right? I'm a full-time employee there, but I'm an entrepreneur. We saw this gap in the market, how
Yes. Well, you
entrepreneurs
saw
just
the
need
gap with
Mhm.
XM, you know what I mean? Like you saw it within your own
Their
organization.
clients.
So you were
Yeah.
like, let's build this too. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're building this, and so yeah, this summer I will have the opportunity to buy in. So my boss is becoming my business partner. How cool is that?
And you complement each other.
Yeah, we do. We
Like
do. Yeah.
yin
So
and
like,
yang, like how perfect,
yeah,
how perfect that your business partner would compliment you in the ways that you need them to.
yeah. When there's a crisis, like I know exactly who to turn to because my D's a 4. I shut down in crisis. So it's like, tell me what to do. Yeah. So it's fun.
Yeah, and it's so funny because I'm like the calmest during chaos. Like
Yeah. I wish
I'm
I
like,
had
oh,
that.
this
Can
is
you
what we do.
sprinkle that
This is
on
fine.
me?
Everything's fine.
Can you
Yes, I
sprinkle
can.
that fairy
Yeah.
dust?
Yeah. So like when my toddler like, ran straight head first into a coffee table leg at Living Spaces and busted his head open, I was just like, hand over the head, you do this, you do this. It was a mess,
That's
but
so
we figured
cool.
it out. We made it.
Yeah.
We survived. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. No. I mean, it's funny because like in some situations, like the mama bear situations, like I can be the
Yeah.
decisive,
I know.
I'm in your
We all
face and
can.
I'm telling you
We
what
all
to
can
do,
with our
right? So we all
kids. I
have
know.
that, yeah,
Hmm.
intuition, right? That's when
I
intuition is like,
know.
okay, in that situation, like there's no time to shut down. There's no,
You don't have an option. Yeah.
opportunity. Yeah, you don't have
Yes.
an option. Yeah, yeah, so
It doesn't exist. You don't get it. It doesn't exist. Like, okay,
yeah.
cool. Awesome. Well, so I have so many more questions and so many places where this could go, but here's what I would rather do. I would rather leave this episode the way it is now. And so for everyone who's listening, they get to enjoy this. I do want you to plug your company's website because I do have a lot of entrepreneurs that are in my network for BGP that have come on the show. So I would love to like make those introductions for you too, and also just, put it out for entrepreneurs in general. And then from there, I would like you to come back after potentially you have a success story with maybe someone that I even mentioned on this episode. So like it comes back full circle, and maybe we even talk about like one of your clients and you bring them on and we talk about the success and how they were able to help you.
I love your vision. I
I
love your
think that
brain.
would be incredible because there's nothing better than like a true client testimonial, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And the
I
girl,
know.
the
You're
person that I'm
breathtaking.
thinking of, I mean, obviously I can't like say, yes, she's going to use you. I have no idea, but
Yeah, I know.
I would love that. And even if it's not one of the people that I told you about, maybe it's someone else that you want to bring on, because I want to hear about what you have been able to do for them. That way other people can listen to that testimonial and be like, I need you to do that for me, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would love to even again, like if that connection doesn't work out, but really like bring somebody else into your
Yes.
circle, so
Yes.
I can be a giver to you as well. Because this has been a blessing, April. I'm so excited that I got to have this conversation with you and share what we're all about at
Yeah.
Talent Pros too.
Yes.
So
So
thank you.
tell everyone who's listening what your website is and where to find you.
Yeah. The website is www.xmtalentpros.com. And then you can find our company on LinkedIn, and you can find me as well on LinkedIn. It's Fanni, Fanni, Gambero. I'm the only one up there with that name, so it should be easy.
Yeah, you're like, don't worry, there's no one else. Just me. It's
Yeah,
only
no
me.
one else with that name.
Thank you so much for coming. I have truly enjoyed this conversation, and I feel like if it was like a weekday, I'd be like, let's go to happy hour, and then we could talk about parenting and everything else too, which is
Hey,
the
let's
best.
do
Like
it. It
those are
doesn't
my
have to be
favorite.
recorded.
Those are my favorite conversations, like the ones that just don't ever stop. Seriously, thank you for coming. And if anybody has any questions, any listeners have any questions about Fanni, feel free to reach out to me. I have all of her contact information. If you need anything from me, please let me know. Thank you again for listening to Big Girl Pants Podcast. And if you have any questions or need to reach out to me for any reason, please reach out to biggirlpantspod@gmail.com. And thank you for listening. Bye.